Good afternoon, Angela. Thank you so much for joining me today for our chat about SAS doctors.
No problem, please do.
Yeah, I am very pleased to have you. You are the CEO of two mental health trusts, Northamptonshire Healthcare NHS Foundation Trust and Leicestershire Partnership Trust. You have been a very long-serving CEO. I've Googled in preparation how long a CEO lasts, and I saw it's 4 years, and you've done 10 years for NHFT and 4 years for LPT.
That's right.
I am particularly pleased that you said yes to this interview because this year you were top CEO named by the Health Services Journal, and in the birthday honours list, you received a CBE for your services. So I am very, very honoured to conduct this interview.
Thank you.
So we are talking about SAS doctors today, and I'm really interested in what a CEO knows about SAS doctors and what are the views of a CEO about the various issues that SAS doctors have.
Yes, no, I think really important question, Lily. And I think as a CEO of the two trusts you've described, they clearly are a range of doctors that exist in both trusts. We have them in both. They clearly are speciality level doctors. We really value them in both organisations, and they fulfil a range of different roles across both of the organisations. So as a CEO, I'm aware that we have them. I'm aware that they are part of our medical workforce. They're part of our workforce generally, because they fulfil a role that is really important and they're very valued as part of that. So I'm clear and confident that they're part of our organisations, and I'm clear and confident that we've got more to do to develop them further, and I want us to do that.
That's excellent. On this theme, you may or may not know that various royal colleges have put out SAS strategies to ensure that the development and recognition of this group of doctors occurs. So I'm going to go through the main themes with you, hoping that you tell me what your views are, what happens in your trusts with this theme. So the first one is the clinical theme. I wonder how SAS doctors are developed and how they're recognized in your trust.
Yes, no, and I think it's important to say firstly that this does depend on each trust, because we're conscious that this is not a consistent practice across the country even. What I am clear on is that we do want to support you in both of the organisations we've got, and we've got tutors in different specialities, departments to support that. So that tends to be what we do here. So there is opportunity to get clinical development and to be part of a team. And I'm clear that that is something that we're fully sighted on in both organisations.
I mean, I know that in your trust, quite a few senior SAS doctors, you have mechanism of recognizing them, either by appointing them as specialists or by offering them other opportunities. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I mean, I think that it's really important to recognise that you have to understand the SAS doctors that you've got, the different skills that they bring. That may be clinical, patient care directly in supporting a particular area. It may be teaching. It may be that education element. And I think that what we do is we recognise the people and the skills that they bring, so we can actually make sure that we maximise that within the organisations. And we also have opportunities for people to take part in research, also acting into consultant roles. It really does range. And of course, the teaching element is very important to us.
Yeah. I mean, I know that both trusts have a culture of growing your own in terms of career development. Yes. And I wonder if you can tell me a bit about how that came about, where are we with that, and yes. What's your role in overseeing that as a CEO?
Yes, that's a really important question, Lily, because we know, and it's not just down to NHFT and LPT, that workforce is one of the biggest challenges facing the NHS as we speak. And it remains one of the biggest risks for the NHS. And I'm really pleased to say that we've got the NHS Workforce Plan launched recently, which gives us that opportunity to develop further. As a CEO, this is something that I am working on every day in one way or another because of those elements I've described. I realise that the workforce pipeline, if you like, the variation that people want in their careers, means that we can't do more of the same. We've got to offer opportunities for all of our workforce, and SAS doctors are part of that, giving them career opportunities, giving them access to leadership, giving them a sense of value, clear value in the organisation, and really starting to get them to recognise what they bring and what we see in that. Now, the other element that I think is important to share is across our group, because we do operate as a group. I'm already involved in a piece of work about how we can do more to support medical careers. And of course, SAS doctors are part of that. And we want to be really clear that we want to understand on a personal level, what is somebody looking for from their career? What is it that they want to do in terms of that progression, and how can we support that, whether that's teaching, research, clinical practice? And that's the same for the SAS doctors.
Oh, that's nice. It seems like the initiative you have, it's also a means of flattening the hierarchy that historically have existed more so in medical career than other professions.
Absolutely. And I think just to say on the hierarchy, Lily, because I think it's really important that, again, in both trusts, that we have this, everyone is a leader. Now, the reason we say that is because it really is important in the culture to recognise that. And you'll see that through the SAS doctors as well, because it's very important that we recognise people undertake different roles. I have a different role to you, but that role is equal in the sense of we have everything and something different to bring to the organisation. So encouraging that is very important to me.
It's sometimes difficult when you have various professionals groups to have visibility for all of them. So one of the things that you're talking about is for SAS doctor has been there is no visibility sometimes. Now you mentioned leadership, and I wonder if we can talk about leadership and why we don't see SAS as informal leadership roles so much across the NHS, and whether there's anything that can be done in the trust that you lead about this, or has been done.
Yes, I think it's really important that, as I say, some of it relates to the whole path that SAS doctors have been on, and some of it, as I say, relates to trust and opportunities that we can create. But I'm really clear that we have opportunities here in both organisations. People lead on research, people have access to leadership development. We want to do more of it. I'm not saying we've done enough at all, but I know that we want to do more, and that can be research where we're leading. SAS doctors are leading piece of research. It could be in that teaching, but I am absolutely clear as CEO that leadership opportunities should be available for everybody, and SAS doctors are no exception to that. So I will be looking again with colleagues to understand what more we can do, and to work in a co-production way to really understand, are we having any barriers? If so, what can we do about them?
Oh, that's interesting. Do you know by any chance if when leadership opportunities arise, are they sort of advertised, are SAS doctors made aware of them?
It's a good question, Lily. My principal reaction would be they should be. But if I'm sitting here today saying, can I say guaranteed, hand on heart, all of them are, I couldn't say yes. But that's something that I think is something I'm very committed to. And outside of this, I will check for sure that that is something that going forward is the case.
Thank you. I mean, what I know of your trust, I think the opportunities are there, but sometimes there are barriers because the path SAS doctors have taken,
yes,
has some limitations. I mean, are you aware of why that would be?
Yes, I think that's predominantly because of the training opportunities with the trainees and the access that has, been the case for some time. I think that's why it's important, as I said earlier, to really get into the space of what does each individual want, because it's not a blanket approach for everybody. What is it each individual wants? And we have the opportunity to have those discussions with individuals. The numbers within the trust are manageable for us to have those individual discussions. And I think career discussions around leadership in particular would be very valuable indeed.
Yeah. you have a fairly proactive leadership team in your trust. So I think that this is quite interesting thing for other SAS doctors from other trusts to see that somebody like you actually knows about SAS doctors, takes an interest in the development of SAS doctors, and actually looks at removing some of the barriers. I'm going to come to research because you mentioned it before. And in the national documents, access to research and academic opportunities for SAS doctor is the least accessible path. Is there anything in the trust that you lead that you're aware of that has been done and like showing other people that can be done?
Yes, no, research is really, really important for everybody, not just SAS doctors, but very much everybody, because we need to be generating the evidence and the innovation within it. So I'm very committed to research generally. In both organisations, we have very active research departments, and I'm pleased to say that we have SAS doctors as lead investigators, which I think demonstrates our commitment to developing them as individuals, but also our commitment to research. But there's always more. There's always more to do here, and I would encourage everybody to get involved in research, however small. Dip your toe in. If you're not sure, reach out to your research departments, because you can be involved, you should be, and you can certainly be developing skills and expertise, and we need it in the NHS, so I would encourage it all the time.
Yeah, there's an interesting scheme that your trust's research department told me about, which is the Associate Principal Investigator Scheme, which is a national scheme, and they're encouraging everybody from every profession in the health service to take that opportunity up. It's actually a very supported position. So I was very pleased to hear that your trusts are involved. Quality improvement, crucial to all of us. Yes. In your trust, there's a lead quality improvement post that has been advertised to SAS doctors and consultants as a medical lead for QI. It's a good initiative, isn't it? It's something that SAS doctors really should be getting behind.
Absolutely. And I think that, I mean, you've said it already, quality improvement is something that's very important to us. And it's very important to me as a CEO, because it fundamentally means that you're constantly looking at quality of care and wanting to improve it. So getting more people involved in that across the trust, across the professions, across the medical workforce is critical, absolutely critical. And having people who are prepared to step forward to lead it, not to do it all, because obviously we want everybody involved in it, but to take some leadership in it is very important. And I'm really pleased to hear and to respond that we are doing that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I am gonna switch the gear now, and I'm gonna have 3 quick fire questions. These are the kind of questions that often people don't know the answers to. So if you don't know the answers to, I wouldn't be too surprised, but I'm very much looking forward to your answers. Are you ready for this?
We'll give it a go, Lily.
Okay, the first one, the basic one, is what does SAS stand for?
Okay, so that's specialty and specialist.
Oh my God, I am very impressed. Okay, the next one is do you know how many SAS doctors are in your trusts?
Well, interesting question, because I think that it is changing always, but as I believe today, I've got 37 in NHFT and 21 in Leicester.
Wow. Okay, I didn't expect you to know that. I've checked those numbers with NHS England, and actually you're spot on. So obviously you have the right sources. Do you happen to know what departments they work in?
It's a range, to be frank. So we've got some in psychiatry, perinatal, we've even got one in dental, and across the range of our specialties, actually. So again, a significant number and quite a range. And as I've said before, playing different roles in patient care and teaching.
Yeah. And the last 3 question from me is, Do you know what a SAS advocate is, and do you have any of them in the trust that you lead?
Yes, now this is again an important area of development. I think there's a national move to get more advocates for SAS doctors, and I'm very much behind that. Obviously, having somebody who can, speak on behalf, promote, lead, create networks is very important, and that advocacy, I think, is a really great idea across the country. We do have one in Leicestershire, Leicester Partnership Trust, and we're looking to take that forward in NHFT. And I'm really keen across the group to bring that group of people together under that advocacy to really start to make sure that networking is supporting them and continuing to make sure that we're meeting their needs and can develop them.
Excellent. I did not expect you to get all 3 questions right, Angela. I bet you're relieved. Thank you very much for chatting with me. Before we say goodbye, I wonder if you can sort of give me a CEO view of, can a SAS doctor become a CEO?
Yes, it's as simple as that. Yes, they can. And, whatever CEO you're talking to, the career path is quite different and varied. And all I would say is that you need to have a passion for leadership, understand, obviously the elements of the job, but of course, yes, they can.
So can I tempt you to tell us a bit about your background and how you made it?
Yes, of course. So I'm a clinician by background. I'm a speech and language therapist, and I never had a career path that was set on being a chief executive at all. I was very clear that I was within my profession and I loved it. But what happened to me was that I had opportunities to try some leadership across different professional groups, and I really recognised leadership was my passion. And I'm really pleased to say that I had opportunity to try things, and I love it.
Good. But surely you haven't moved straight from speech and language therapist to CEO. How did the road take you?
Yeah, so lots of different roles, predominantly managing services, so operations, so managing a range of community services, mental health services, so starting with assistant director, associate director roles, director of operations, those sorts of experiences in that operational context before getting a chief executive role.
How many years did it take you?
Well, I've done 35 years in the NHS overall.
Oh, wow.
And so a long time. And as you said, I've been about 10 years as a CEO.
Excellent. So if a SAS doctor watches this video across the country from a different trust and thinks, I wouldn't mind looking into this opportunity, what would you say to them?
I'd say absolutely consider it. Don't be shy. Reach out to chief executives. That's what I did. Reach out, shadow people, go and have conversations, understand the leadership challenges that it has, talk to other people who are directors on boards as well, because that accountability is quite different. So you need to understand what that would mean. But I would say reach out and network, and don't be afraid to ask.
And you would be happy to have a SAS doctor contact you and say, can I shadow you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent. On this very happy tone, I want to say thank you so much for today. It was interesting discussion to see your perspective from a CEO point of view on SAS doctors, and thank you very much.
Thank you.